Welcome back, Truth Seeker. It is Tuesday, June 18th, 2019, coming off the worst day of predicting games in the history of doing this. And I really did think yesterday was going to be a good day. It was just that the date numerology games did not come through and the prime number relationships did not come through. But looking it over, made a discovery about what trumped the riddles yesterday. And yesterday did remind me of that really bad stretch for 2 weeks where the riddles weren't coming through as well, and then it got back on the path. The date numerology came back, the primes came back. So yesterday, what happened is the games that went sideways, which were a lot of them, the riddles were through the pitchers. And for example, Boston yesterday got their 40th win. It was 173 days from Rick Porcello's birthday. That's the 40th prime. And earlier this year, we were looking at pitchers. I've said all throughout the year that in the postseason, the pitchers, the distance from their birthdays is very important. But it seemed earlier this year when we were using that, it wasn't helpful. It was misleading more often than not. But yesterday, it was a perfect relationship. The Royals game was the pitcher. Pretty much all the games yesterday that went sideways were the pitcher. So today, we're going to take into account how things line up with the pitchers as well, where it does apply. In every game, it doesn't matter, but there are a number of games where it's big today. So, June 18, 2019, the date numerology 63, 36, 27. The lesser method's 43. The day plus the month, 6 plus 18 is 24. It is the 18th day of the month. Keep in mind, baseball equals 18. 61's the 18th prime number. Always think of Roger Maris hitting 61 home runs in 1961. It's also the 169th day of the year, which has a square root of 13. There's a couple games today where the 13 could play. It's the 29th day of Gemini, leaving 3 days remaining. So, keeping pitchers in mind, the Phillies-Nationals game got rained out yesterday. And yesterday, the date made the game a little bit more favorable for the Nationals and Corbin. We'll never get to know what happened. Today, because it's been moved one day forward, even though we have the same pitcher matchup, things line up better for Arrieta now. Today is Arrieta's 105th day of his age. It's 104 days after his birthday, his 105th day of his age. He's at 104 wins, going for 105, and Nationals equals 105. So what a perfect day for him to get his 105th win against the perfect opponent. And if Corbin lost, he would stay at 61 career wins on the 18th, 61 the 18th prime. The one thing still going for Corbin is that he could get to 6-5 versus Philadelphia. Philadelphia 65. I am thinking the Phillies will just lose one game in this series to get to 33 losses because Nationals 33. It is a 4-game series, so that means the Phillies would win 3 out of 4 if that is true. So I'm going to give the Phillies the edge in this game. Arrieta gets his 105th win on his 105th day of his age. Realize he couldn't have had that yesterday. The Rays and the Yankees, if the Yankees win today, they stay on 27 losses on a 27 date. There's nothing that sticks out with the pitchers here. There's not a lot of clues to go off of. Another thing that's been suggested in recent live streams is breaking down the records of the teams in numerology. So, for example, the Rays right now are 43 and 29. 43 in numerology is 4 plus 3 is 7. So their win column's a 7. Their loss column's 29, which is 2 plus 9 is 11. 11 is 1 plus 1 is 2. So it's 7-2 right now. Yesterday they fell to that record in their 72nd game. I can't imagine that that pattern would go on forever. Otherwise, they would lose through their 79th game. But if they did lose today, they'd be 43 and 30, 43-7, 30 is 3, 7-3. They're playing the Yankees. Yankees is 37, the reflection. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that. I'm not crazy about this game because there's not a lot to go off of. But just going to keep an eye on that. If Hap won, he would be 7-3 on the season. And again, Yankees 37, the reflection. We know those reflections have played. A game I like a lot today. If any game's going to shock me today, it's if the Pirates lose. I like the Pirates to win today. The reason why is because they'll get their 36th franchise win on a 36-date numerology. It's the Pittsburgh pitcher's 76th day of his age. Pittsburgh 76. I think that could be a sign. If the Pirates win, they're 33 and 39. Forgot to put this note up here. Tigers equals 33-39. Pirates can be 33-39. So I like that. And just doing that numerology thing, if the Tigers lose, 25, 2 plus 5 is 7. If they lost, they'd get their 44th loss. 4 plus 4 is 8, so it'd be 7 and 8. And look at the Gematria Tigers if you use the alphabetic order. So 78. So you could have all these tributes to Tigers in the record with a Pirates win. So I like the Pirates today. 36th win all time on the 36-date numerology. We talked yesterday about whoever would win this game would likely lose today. And I was hoping the Angels would win yesterday because that would set the Angels up to potentially stay on 36 wins in Toronto and the Blue Jays to get on a winning streak that could go with the date numerology. So today the Blue Jays can pick up their 27th win on the 27 date, 28th win on the 28 date, so on. Today's the 49th day of the Blue Jays pitcher's age. Stroman equals 49. Now, the one concerning thing there is if he lost, he would be 4-9 on his 49th day of his age. So that said, I'm still going to take the Blue Jays because you got the date numerology there. But that's just the one thing I'm wondering about. The Angels did win. They get their 18th win on the 18th. So I still like the Blue Jays riddle better. The Astros and the Reds, I don't like to go against Verlander. Normally when Verlander wins, there's a really clear riddle. I don't see that for him today. What's interesting about the Reds pitcher is Sclafani. If he wins, he'll be 31-31. Houston equals 31. Remember yesterday we liked the Reds. Their pitcher became 20-20 for his career. Astros 20. So you could get the same thing 2 days in a row with Reds pitchers with their records evening up against the perfect opponent, the Houston Astros. That said, if he lost, he'd get his 32nd career loss. Houston equals 32, and his team would stay on 32 wins. So there wasn't anything real clear with the birthdays. It's 61 days after Sclafani's birthday, which is the 18th prime. His team can get the 18th home away win or loss. It's also his 62nd day of his age. Reds is 62. So not thrilled about that one. The Mets and the Braves, DeGrom, who's on the mound for the Mets, he wears number 48. Today he can get his 48th career loss. Atlanta equals 48. He could also fall to 3-7 on the season. Atlanta Braves is 37. Tomorrow's his birthday. Birthday equals 48. The only thing I could see going against the Braves is them staying on 43 wins on the 43 date and possibly falling to 3-3 versus the Mets with a loss. New York's 33. Atlanta's on the 33rd parallel. But it is the DeGrom numbers that really pop out. So his loss in season record would be perfect for the opponent. Now this White Sox-Cubs game, we got a Chicago series here. And if yesterday's riddle with pitchers holds true to today, the White Sox should lose because today's 157 days after Nova's birthday. That's the 37th prime. The White Sox can get the 37th loss. Keep in mind, Chicago equals 37. And today's 173 days after Hamill's birthday, which is the 40th prime. The Cubs can get the 40th win. We just saw the Red Sox do this with Porcello. Before I did the pitchers, I was thinking the White Sox might be a decent play for an upset today because tomorrow has 37-date numerology, and that'd be a great day to pick up the 37th loss in the Chicago series. Also, what's the other thing? Oh, the White Sox could get their 61st all-time win against the Cubs today on the 18th. 61, the 18th prime, meaning the Cubs could get the 61st loss. But notice the prime numbers. It's the White Sox 71st game. They can get the 20th away loss. So I imagine, tomorrow if the White Sox were to win, or let's just say the White Sox split the next two games, they'd be 35-37. Chicago's 35-37. In light of what I saw yesterday about how the pitchers and the prime number relationships trumped everything, it's hard to go against the Cubs today because you got it on both sides with both pitchers. And it's not always that way. That's the thing. Earlier this year, riddles like that were not coming through. In the postseason, I guarantee you a riddle like that would come through. But it almost seems like the key factors in the baseball games is shifting this season. Like this week, it's date numerology and prime numbers. It's the same thing the week after, and then all of a sudden it's not. And, I'm trying to figure it out on the fly, but based on what happened yesterday, I'd assume the Cubs would take it today. The Indians and Rangers... The Rangers pitcher Sampson, with a win, he would be 6-7 for his career. Cleveland Indians equals 67. With a win, he'd be 6-3 on the season on a 63 date. The pitcher for the Indians, it's his 149th day of his age, which is the 35th prime. The Indians can pick up the 35th loss with Plesac on his 149th day of his age on the mound. So that looks good for the Rangers. The Red Sox and the Twins. Again, yesterday we were looking at that date numerology, thinking the Red Sox would pick up the 35th loss on the 35 date, but it went with the pitcher riddle instead. Pineda has a chance to become 5-3, and Boston Red Sox equals 53. Pineda also wears the number 35, and the Red Sox can pick up their 35th loss. The other thing about this game is it's the Red Sox 41st away game. They could get their 41st win of the season. 41's the 13th prime. The Twins could get their 13th home loss. And remember, today's the 169th day of the year, which has a square root of 13. So this game, it's just it's a little bit iffy. You don't have the date numerology to support the records. You have to be more abstract with the 41, 13, 169 thing. Sometimes I think you get too mathematical. It's just too much. But because the Red Sox blew up the date numerology riddle yesterday, it's going to be hard to track this series. But those Jersey pitcher numbers, they started off very consistent for us, and then they haven't been as much lately. But that is staring me in the face that Pineda can dish out loss number 35 to the Red Sox. The Marlins and the Cardinals. The Cardinals' next win is 38. They used to be the Florida Marlins. Florida equals 38. At the beginning of the year, we were tracking all the 38 riddles that were coming through with the Marlins. What's interesting is the Marlins pitcher today, it's 38 days from his birthday. That's not a prime number relationship, but it does make me think that the Cardinals very well could pick up that 38th win against the Marlins today. The one thing going for the Marlins is they could stay at 20 away losses in their 71st game. 71, the 20th prime. So I'm a little bit conflicted on that because I like to go with the primes, but just seeing how much the pitchers played yesterday, I see how that 38 could fit right in there. The Rockies and the Diamondbacks. It's Senzatella's 149th day of his age, which is the 35th prime, and his team can get the 35th loss today. So that's definitely screaming out, especially in light of what I saw yesterday. What I would have said before is Diamondbacks can get that 36th loss on the 36th date numerology. But again, the prime number relationships with the pitchers yesterday trumped the date numerology and the other prime relationships. So based on what I saw yesterday, I'm thinking that's going to be a theme for at least this week. And for the rest of the season, I am going to track the pitchers' birthdays. It was burning me earlier this year, but I realized we got to keep all of our data on the table. I can't just throw things away because it was burning me. I still got to look at it. So try to pick out the best games each day. Got to have all the variables. This Orioles and Athletics game, this one's dicey. The Orioles, 42 is played for the Orioles in a lot of their upsets this year. And if the Orioles did win today, the A's would fall to 4-2 against the Orioles on the season. Orioles equals 42. The pitcher for the Athletics, who are monster favorites today, he could stay at 36 career wins with Oakland on a 36 date numerology, and he could get his 39th career loss. Orioles is also 39. If he won, he'd be 7-4. Oakland, California, 74. Maryland, 47. Yanoa, who's on the mound for the Orioles, today is 23 days after his birthday. He could help his team stay at 23 away losses. It's also his 24th day of his age. His team could pick up the 24th away loss. So I'm not thrilled about this game. What I'm going to watch is the 23. Here, I'll make the note here. 24th day of his age. So that's the way it is for all my notes. I just wrote how many days after. To count what would the day of the age would be, you'd have to just add plus 1 day to each of those counts. The ace pitcher, it's 137 days after his birthday, the 33rd prime. There's no 33s on the board. If I put together a parlay of games I like today, I might do one where I tack on the A's to win it, and I might do one where I also tack on the Orioles so I don't have to be angry if the game goes one way or the next. But I would be cheering for the Orioles because it would pay a lot better. So the Orioles do have a shot. Again, that 42 has come through for this team a number of times this year. The Brewers and the Padres. The Padres, they could stay on 36 wins on the 36th date. If they won, they'd be 37-37. Milwaukee's 37 in the most pure cipher. The Padres pitcher, it's his 27th day of his age. And this is his debut. Padres is 27. Again, when these guys make debuts, it's always dangerous because you just don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to come out and have an amazing day and be a top story, or is it going to be a rookie humiliation ritual? So I think if the Padres do lose today, they will win tomorrow and pick up that 37 on the 37 date over Milwaukee. Probably just wait and see on that one. The Giants and Dodgers game. If the Dodgers win 2 straight, they get to 50 wins. Like I was talking about yesterday, if the Dodgers win 2 out of 3, I thought the Dodgers would win the first 2 and drop the third. If the Dodgers win today and tomorrow, they'll have 50 wins and 25 losses. In the most pure ciphers, San Francisco's 50, Giants is 25. So you'd have the perfect tribute in the record with the opponent. I think that's where this one's going to go. The date numerology thing, if you break down Dodgers, 4 plus 8 is 12, 1 plus 2 is 3. The Dodgers have a 3 in the win column right now. They have a 25 in the loss column. That's 7, 3, 7. Los Angeles is 37. If they lost again today, it would be 26 losses. 2 plus 6 is 8, so it would be 3, 8. Giants is 38. So somebody called in and mentioned that. That is interesting, but I'm going to ride with the 50 and 25 thing, staying on 25 losses because Giants is 25. I like that San Francisco Giants riddle, so I think the Dodgers get 2 straight. Today's the 233rd day of the Giants pitcher's age, 233. That's the 13th Fibonacci. It's 91 days after Kershaw's birthday. That's the 13th triangular. It's also 13 weeks. LA's 13. So we'll see how that turns out. Is that pointing to LA wins or, LA's numbers up? So, but again, I like that 50 and 25 thing. Even though the Dodgers didn't get it done yesterday, I'm sticking with that thought. And then the Royals and the Mariners. Yesterday, the Mariners had a nice date numerology riddle to beat the Royals. Didn't come through. Yesterday was 179 days from the Royals pitcher's birthday. That's the 41st prime. And the Mariners, by losing, became 4-1 against the Royals. Kansas City's also 41. So that's what happened yesterday. Today is 46 days after Homer Bailey's birthday. And notice the 46. The Mariners could pick up their 46th loss. Yesterday I talked about how both teams came in with numbers that indicated sweep. If the Mariners get swept at home by the Royals, they would be 4-3 versus the Royals this year. And Mariners equals 43. It's their 43rd season. So Seattle's the big favorite. Again, after what happened yesterday, I think today's just a good day to just cool it and sit back and take note. But if the Mariners do pick up this 46th loss, then we'll know that we definitely got to keep on the path with the pitchers. So earlier this year, they weren't hitting the birthdays, but there has been some games that, like the other week, I documented how it was 85 days from David Price's birthday, Boston 85, Red Sox 85, and the Red Sox won that game 8-5. So anyway, that's that. That's baseball. My favorite game today is the Pirates. Again, you get that Tigers riddle. You get the 36th series win, the date numerology breakdown, things there. So, okay, I'm going to link all these notes down below. Also, we're going to pay attention to WNBA. Just tried to add on to our resume of things that we can do. The last WNBA day, we got both riddles right. There's usually not a lot of WNBA games, not a lot of teams, but the other day we were 2-0, so we're going to try to keep the win streak alive. We have the Washington Mystics at the Los Angeles Sparks. 53. Either team can be 5-3. Los Angeles equals 53. Looking at the away and home records, what stands out is if the Mystics lose, they're 1-3 away. LA's 13. And if the Sparks win, they're 2-1 at home. Sparks equals 21. So to me, that would make the most sense. Both teams, their next opponents equal 44. So you could make sense of either team falling to 4-4 in light of their next matchup. You could make sense of either team becoming 5-3 in Los Angeles. But again, LA 13, Sparks 21. To me, that's the tiebreaker. So gonna roll with the Sparks in that one. Tonight, look for some posts. I'm going to put up some Gematria value tables for baseball to help us out with our daily decoding notes. So I'll have that posted as soon as I'm finished. Till next time, Truth Seeker.